Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Advent of Code. I finished up part 1 of day 13 off camera. The main issue was parse. I had noticed that we were by pasting my input file awkwardly, I had made like a ragged list instead of a perfect grid. And this whole, I don't know, it was just the way I was trying to figure out the coordinates was a mess. And so instead of just returning the bounds, and then a list and letting make array list, or list array, I guess. And then instead of letting it infer positions based on the bounds, I changed the type of input to be a list of coordinates and tiles. So that's what we parse the input to. And when building the array, I just look over all of the tiles coordinates and compute the maximum x and y coordinates that I saw and said that's the size the array should be. And furthermore, I initialize every position in the array first with an empty tile so that it's always okay to print the array. There's never anything undefined in it, for example, which I used here. I ended up adding a little debug clause here where after every time step, I can print the current state of things. And I used that to trace through what was going wrong in the initial input. And that was, I think, the main thing. It was parse was producing a ragged array, and I was incorrectly initializing my actual array with that. So after doing that, I got, an answer that is correct for part 1. So let's go look now at, actually, is this even showing the right? No. I'm in the middle of uploading some stuff. Let's see, how do I, there's nothing interesting there, but how do I change this? Properties, yeah. There we go. I forgot to check that before I started recording, but whatever. You guys can see me uploading some Prismata videos to YouTube. A peek behind the curtain, as it were. And so part 2 of this is they want you to change how things work. Instead of halting on the first crash, you should instantly remove the 2 carts that crashed and then continue. And this is actually not... Our current solution is not very amenable to making such a change. Because run one tick maps over the carts that... well, actually, maybe it's fine. We need to do something a little more careful. We can't just map, but okay, so actually, it wouldn't be too bad to just edit run one tick, right? Well, would it? It might be. But what would be trickier is editing move one tick, parameterizing this stuff so that it works for both part 1 and part 2. Which, again, I like to do in my solutions. I like them to be valid solutions for both parts of the problem. We can leave move cart alone, I think, because it takes in one coordinate, and if there was a crash, it returns the coordinate at which that crash occurred, which happily is the coordinates of another cart, which we can use in run until crash to say, that cart has been deleted and should not be considered for moving in this round, right? So, okay, I think we can actually do this by making run until crash take an argument. No. Yes. It'll still call run one tick, but it'll take an argument describing how it should react when a crash occurs. And I haven't figured out what the type of that argument should be yet. But okay, so what do I want to do? I mean, I guess I just want to, like, say, handle crash of... No, hang on. We can't do it in run until crash. It has to be run one tick, because it's what's iterating over the carts. It needs an argument. So we don't want to just sequence A all of these things, right? We kind of need maybe fold M? Not exactly. Well, yeah, maybe. Because we want to build up, as we go, a list of coordinates, or a set of coordinates that should be excluded. So we want to iterate over all the current carts, and at each step ask, hey, have we already deleted this cart? You know, we don't even have to do that, honestly. We can just ask, is there still a cart at the place I was thinking of moving, right? And if not, don't do anything. So maybe we can make a change here. So let's tile T C. Tile T occupant should be this. And then case occupant of nothing. We just return pure of right. Oh no, there's nothing we can return. I mean, I guess I could return left and say that a crash occurred at this location. Yeah. Why not? To then be basically all this stuff. The indentation is gonna stink, isn't it? Hang on, let's just I guess I want to for indent rigidly. There we go. Do. So when we try to move and we see there's nothing here, we'll say a crash occurred here. Is that a good idea? I don't know. Maybe it's not such a good idea to change move one cart at all. We'll just only try to move a cart when there's actually a cart there. I think that run one tick can be smart enough to do this. So let's try fold M. Carts prime from fold M. Move one. S empty of carts of this, in fact, where carts prime equals undefined. There you go, easy, right? Oh, not carts prime. Move one. And apparently I need to import this. I assume it's in control monad. Yeah. So fold M is going to give us do I want a list? Like, at each step, what exactly am I going to do? Move one is basically going to delegate to run one cart or whatever we can move one cart. And if that returns a left, okay, so I think in fact we need to do something a little like fancier here and say, let's see. Let's then, yeah, I'm gonna have carts prime return. I don't know, guys. Carts prime, it's easy to make, well, not even easy. I can think about how to make the change to do just part 2. I would have carts prime return a set of new carts. And I would just see if that is empty, then I don't even know, actually. It's not. I wouldn't easily have. I wouldn't have the coordinates where the last crash occurred. So I want to like do something for each cart, but I can't just map them in action over the list. Because that might involve trying to move a cart that's been destroyed. And if I fold them, I don't really know what state I need to keep track of. It's like kind of a lot, isn't it? I need to keep track of the set of eligible, ineligible. Well, I guess I could keep the eligible carts instead and remove elements from that set. Okay. But like, this still feels like it could really use either T or STT. I always forget which one, like, the inner monad is specified seconds. Would be either T of ST, right? Would be the transformer I would want here. And then I could fold in that and just like I could return left if I was done and otherwise right of the set of new carts. All right, well, let's go, I guess, look up Haskell either T or is it error T? Well, I know error was a bit weird. I don't want this one. I want the one from MTL, please. MTL either transformer. Control monad trans either. Control monad except, I guess. That's the one I want. Do not confuse except T. Throw and catch, lift, okay, run accept. So let me just double check the type of either T here. Yeah, monad error, sure. Accept T, I guess. Takes an error and a monad, and it is the inner yeah, so ST of either of whatever, okay. So let's get MTL, I guess. It's gonna be that kind of day. Intero restart here, and I want like a control monad except, and what all do I need from here? Either T, probably, I don't know. No, it's except T. And I want run except T. What's, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's about it. I sort of thought there was a function in here called left, but I guess not. We just use throw error instead. What did I use before? It was something not from MTL, I guess. All right. I guess we need then throw error, right? Throw error is how we're going to short circuit and just return like a left value, basically. Yeah, I don't think we need to catch any errors. So move one of import control monad fold m. What is its type, please? Takes the accumulator on the left. Okay. Carts, I guess. Cart equals. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, like, what is this crazy type that we have? We have except T of coord and st of s. Is that correct? No, I have to change the rest of the stuff as well. What's the type? accept T. E takes the error, the monad, and the A. So that's this. Okay. So now we have, and like fold in move one. So move one is kind of like, let's see. I think we still need to call case move one card. I don't know. Like we do some weird stuff with like, let's try adjusting this to be either as well. Accept T chord STS chord, and now we're gonna have to fix some types here. I think. Actually, like, what? Oh. Now that the file compile, or now that it parses, I'll get why? Shouldn't I specify accept T? Oh, whoops. Yeah, and now I just want like pure pause, is that correct? That like implicitly lifts through both? Yeah. Oh, but it's not. I don't want pure pause. I want throw error of pause. Right? And here I want pure pause. So like, right, we crashed at this place. All right. And this is wrong because it just wants ST. So I need to like use lift probably to get us out of either into ST. Where is lift? It's in control monad trans class, I think. And I assume Intero won't tell me where to get it from. Oh, it's from control monad accept, sure. I said CR. Window too small for splitting? That's not what I'm asking you to do. Why aren't you putting lift in? I don't know. Lift. Put in some lifts, right? There you go. Okay. So now move one cart has been transformed into taking accept T, and it still does basically the same thing, and it's just new type wrappers around it. But the point of this was that run one tick, well, yeah, and this actually should, it always returns a coordinate. It doesn't return an either. It does the error handling. So now move one can be like, well, we start by calling move one cart of G and cart, right? We don't want a case match on it exactly, right? For several reasons. One, like it returns an ST, so this is clearly wrong. But also, like, we want to like let the either T flow through us, right? So, or accept T. So what I really want to do is have move one cart be like, and let's not use sEmpty. Let's use our list of carts as so we're going to fold over a set, and it's going to start out full, not empty. So our default behavior is going to be to move a cart and then, well, let's say do. We're gonna new pause, or let's call it cart prime, is to move that cart. So here we're ignoring the possibility that the cart might have crashed. We'll handle that elsewhere in an error somewhere, I think. Actually, how does that work? Error. Like, what's the deal with catch exactly is what I want to know. Catch error. Okay. Yeah. So we'll do a bunch of stuff assuming that no crash has occurred. And then we'll have a catch error for what to do in the error case. And this is basically just effectively like pattern matching on either for us. So move one cart, G and cart. Gave us a new cart. And now we just want to return the new list of carts, right? So what do? We take that the current list of carts and like apply some set operations to it. Haskell data set. Like how do you remove a thing and add a thing? Oh, they're insert and delete. I remember. Sure. Pure of s.insert cart. Actually, what order does it want arguments in? Takes the item first. Yeah, cart prime s delete cart of carts. So, right, we say, okay, we moved a cart. Fine. Now let's delete its old location and add the new one. Should be fine. And then we'll just return that. But what's the deal with catch exactly? So handle previous errors. The handler and the do block must have the same return type. Okay. So now we say this catch error of probably do, right? Like, I don't know. What exactly does catch error do? Wants an M of A. Oh, it wants a function, so not do. Catch error lambda E. Variable not in scope catch error. Okay. So first of all, I do need these parents, right? It doesn't parse right otherwise. Looks okay actually. Main or run until crash doesn't compile because we changed we changed this. We need to actually like run except on this or something. Run except T. Right. Maybe you should change this to say answer, because run until crash might, or rather run one tick is returning an answer, which I guess it is the what do they want from us? One cart remaining, its final location. Yeah, not where the last crash happened, but where the last cart is after the crash after all the crashes have happened. Okay, so this is pretty reasonable. Now, what's our catch error? Also, do I need these? I don't think that's... Yeah, well... Apparently this is perfectly legal. Okay, well, noted. But I want like this. Wait. Oh, was it? Oh, this has to be indented like this? I need cart and pure to be further right than move one, but not as far right as catch error. Or I need catch error to be in between these two, so I need some space, I guess. Seems a little weird. So now, do. Why is this like... Why is it not like the way I'm tabbing this? Why does it think it should be all the way at the right of the screen? This is correct, but it doesn't like, Emacs just doesn't like it. Okay, well, that's a bit of a nuisance. So now, in the case of E, we have, let's call this crash, right? So that's the cart that we crashed on, right? First thing is to wrap this whole thing with when the cart that we're looking at still exists. When cart s.member carts do but I can't because when returns... Ugh. Okay, so I guess if... Is it called is member? Member... Not member. Okay, so what I want is if cart s not member of carts, then pure carts. Else yeah, Emacs still really does not like this style. I mean, I can wrap this in parens and Emacs still hates it, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Does it help if I... Now this is fine, but I don't think this is correct. That would be calling catch error just on this pure, but I don't want that. I want a catch error on the whole operation. Oh, right, we would want this, I guess. Okay, I mean, now it's willing to indent this for me, so that's progress. So when there was a crash, we simply let's see. We need to make sure that both things get deleted. And neither of them has been. Right? Yeah, we just said, oh, there's someone there already. So what I think we want first is a function, erase cart takes grid of s and a coordinate and returns s t s unit. It just does nothing. Because we sort of wrote this, right? Well, I mean, we kind of already have some information, but I can just say, like, let's take this and put it here. Erase cart g pause equals, and we'll just like read the array as well. It's a little wasteful, but do tile t whatever is this, and we write, oh whoops, I think I made the wrong edit here. The one I needed to get rid of was this, lift of erase cart g pause. Yeah. Okay. So my thinking, of course, was that I'm going to use that in this handler. I want to, let's see. When the crash occurred, we have not erased either of them. But I could, right? I could move the cart first. Right, read from what was there and then immediately erase it. And that way I won't have to worry about erasing that one in my run one tick change. So let's just do the crash position. So let's first lift erase cart g of the new position, which is where the crash is occurring. Crash. Why? Okay, I don't know. It just doesn't like that parent. Yeah, fine. That returns the wrong result. But now we need to s dot difference, I guess. I want to remove two things. Or like, I guess I could just call delete twice. We'll call s difference pure s difference. What order does it want? Well, of course, it wants the one we're subtracting from first, right? Although the docs don't actually say exactly. Okay, but I just looked at the source, and that is what it wants. S difference of carts s from list applied to cart prime. Oh, crash, right. So remove from consideration both the cart that crashed and the one it crashed into. And then what we do is we say if s dot, how do I see if a list what's its size? It's called size, okay. If not size of carts equal 1, throw error of the coordinate of the first element in there. What's the best way? Like just take returns a set, fold, like I could call lookup min, I guess. Ah, there's a list. So yeah, of course. Of course. I shouldn't look at its size. I should say case s2 list of carts prime of, if there's only one, we should throw that as an error. Right. Otherwise, remaining, let's say, is just pure of carts prime. Okay, so we've so far changed the program to only handle part 2. We haven't parameterized it to handle either. So I want to just like work on part 2, and then we can go back and add like an argument here. Yeah, there's a lot to extract from part 1 as well that really, like, this should be part of, not parse exactly, but it actually, yeah, I guess this whole thing, like, here should be a single function with, like, one argument that's, like, what to do exactly, but okay. What I want to do is test this on their sample input and see what happens. So here's an example input, and it's different from the original example input, so I need this to be a new test input 2.text. Ugh, it doesn't even paste properly. Whatever, I'll just fix it up manually. Oh, I only want the first one. Sure. So now, stack run test input 2. Like, what exactly happens here? Oh, also let's turn debug back on so I can watch this. True. Okay, so I didn't, by the way, draw the, it says 6-4. That's actually the correct answer. Great. So this might actually work for part 2. But anyway, I didn't, wow, it crashed real fast, huh? Yeah, I didn't bother drawing, because I only kept track that it was straight, and I didn't figure out whether it should be left or right, which makes the drawing look a little ugly. But okay. So, like, what happens on the real input? Do I get an answer that's correct? Oh gosh, it prints a bunch of garbage, of course. Let's cancel that. That is a tremendous number of pluses, by the way. Let's just debug as false again and try again. $134, $117. Why did I have 113? Because I was saying teen out loud, that's right. 134, 117. Oh, hang on. Here you go. That's the right answer. Okay. So I'm actually a little surprised that we got that on the first try, to be honest. Lifting into either T was a bit of a nuisance, but so what I'd like to do is git add, I don't know, well, day 13, part 2 exclusively. And now it would be nice to let this handle both, right? I think that actually we can just have this run one tick take as an argument this, right? It's error handler. In the case of part 1, the error handler should just be throw error again. Like, you got a coordinate, that's the answer, just throw it. And in the case of part 2, it should be this, which, what does it need as parameters? It needs, like, G, and the list of carts we're working on, and the cart that caused the crash. So okay, let's parameterize this further by let's define a type. Type crash handler of S is a function taking in a coordinate and a coordinate and a grid of S and returning except T coordinate STS S set coord. So like maybe this could be a useful type alias too. In fact, let's do that. Let's type cart M of A and S. SA, I guess, is this. And now we have cart M SA. Move this up here. And this is a cart M S coord. Now this is a cart M S and set of coord. Okay. And we'll define two crash handlers. Part 1 handler. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Maybe part 1 and part 2 can just be crash handlers, and then we'll have a main function that does the whole thing on each of those, right? And that's kind of cute. So run until crash needs to take a crash handler S. Wait, is that correct? Yeah, and a S set of coord. But it really wants to like crash handler. No, it takes S. Crash handler is already parameterized over this. Okay, so S set of coord is just a crash handler for S then. Okay, and it just ignores the handler, which is fine. But really what we want to do is pass run one tick G handler. So now we have to update run one tick to take a handler as well. But I guess I was putting it first, right? So I should do the same here. Run one tick handler, and this takes a crash handler of S. Right? Handler? Catch error with handler of it needs. Oh, actually, it should take the grid first. So that partially applying it just sort of works. Handler G cart. Okay, and also, do I need these parents exactly? Looks like I don't. Okay, and now, like, of course, you know, part one is a mess because I called run until crash and I didn't do anything, right? So what this really should be is run carts of tiles handler equals this. Run until crash takes a handler. This whole thing kind of stinks that I'm passing this handler through a bunch of times. Wouldn't it be better if it were just in a reader that the function had implicit access to? Do I really want to bring in reader T just for like passing this one thing through after I've already figured out how everything's supposed to work? I don't know if that's really worth it. I'm not going to do that. Run until crash handler. Why are you upset? Because I didn't run. Wait, actually, why are you upset? Type variable S would escape its scope. Ooh. I know that, like, yeah, you know, that's something ST does, is it makes sure that the S variable is never escapes, but okay, so what? Maybe I need to put a type on run carts or something. Run until crash takes a handler and a grid. What puzzles me is like why it's changed, because handler is just like it should be okay to pass a handler along because it works for any S. I don't know. Maybe I just need to put a type on this and everything will be okay. Run carts is a function taking in an input and a crash handler of I can't make. What is the type of S? Like, right, crash handler needs to be parameterized by an S, but I'm not returning an ST of S. And so, like, what S should this be? I think is what it's upset about. But, like, shouldn't it be okay? Okay, so what's the type of this, like... I've defined crash handler. And it returns cart M, which is an accept T kind of thing in S. I mean, I think I could reduce the scope that handler has. Because it's actually, it shouldn't return. Let's just call this main, actually, like, get rid of this crazy interact thing. Main equals do. Input get contents. Well, traverse parse over get contents. So my problem is that, like, this thing is all messed up. So I think I just want put this into main, basically. And then for M part 1, part 2, lambda handler do. Actually, this would be tiles from this. And then I say run st do. Well, let's see. Well, I just like print it. Print run st do. I don't really have a good bounds exactly anymore. I don't have a place to put that. Traverse is not right. I have to get this from data maybe. Import data maybe from maybe. Traverse parse. Is that what I want? I don't. I just want fmap. No. So get contents. Hang on. There we go. So we parse, giving back. So we fmap a function over the contents, and that function is try parsing, and if you got nothing, then give us empty instead. And that's our tiles. Where exactly is 4m? Haskell 4m. Yeah, where is it, though? I guess I should look on Google. .4m is in data foldable and also control monad. Fascinating. 4m. Okay. So now we need to define part 1 and part 2, I think. And then I guess we're still going to have this problem, but I don't understand why. Okay, and we have to like actually take these things out of the where and put them into a let instead. Because let tiles equal this, coords equals this. Oh, this one's supposed to be bounds, right? Yeah. Okay, getting closer. So I sort of imagined like that part 1 is a crash handler of S. Part 1 of G throw error crash, right? So like part 1 has a perfectly fine type and it works. Part 2 is also a crash handler for S. Part 2 of G cart crash is this, right? No, wait, that's... Did I already... Oh. I deleted the original logic. Fine, whatever. Is S difference, or pure S difference... Whoops. Did I forget to close over the list of carts or something? It actually needs carts, right? Okay, well, that's fine. I'm glad there's only one argument to update. S set of coord. Ugh. Carts. Oh, no, we... Yeah. That's right. Okay. Okay, cart, G carts, cart crash, S difference carts, S from list, applied to cart crash. So these all have the correct types, and they look fine. So now run one tick can be passed a handler of either part 1 or part 2. And so my only problem, well, is finishing this, I guess. So run st. So what's it upset about? part one, I think the problem is that part one and part two don't both have the same S as we're running like this thing. But they should work for any S, and we're making them unify. Right? Part one is just a function. And it returns something that works for any S. And we pass it to run until crash, which only works for a specific S, so ours should unify with that. And then it returns, eventually, an ST of S and coord, which means it unifies with the S in our operation here. So we make a new array. We write all the stuff to it. And then we read all the carts out of it. And then we run until crash using a handler. And we print the result. I mean, okay, we can make a slight change here that would maybe simplify things, which is to show actually return the values. Yeah, like the problem is this $sign here. Oh, actually it should be this is dumb. I actually wanted print anyway, right? And I want this for him. Really, I just... Wait, why are you... Oh, run st. So we're returning. Okay. We've made this change and it's just giving us back the same type, which is fine. I thought that would happen, but this seems a little bit nicer. I don't get it. Wait. This actually looks like it makes more sense. Couldn't match type. So it expects an ST of a specific S named S0. And instead, it has an ST that works for any type. But isn't that fine? No. The problem is the second ST wants a pair of ints. It could unify them then. Right, one of them... I don't know why. Like, it's saying... So we have a handler. And we run st, a state action. And that state action uses part 1 and part 2. It's interesting to me that, like, what is the type of handler? It's a handler for any? Really? Sure. Yes, that makes sense. I think. It's like a handler for any means it'll work for any type. That's correct. That's great. That's what I want. So, like, you know, this is part 1 is a crash handler for S. Handler is a crash handler for any, which is the same thing, I think. It's a type of new array? Right. It's a function. Well, actually, let's say what's the type of this. It's an ST of any and an ST array of that same any and some other stuff. So that seems fine. Okay, so something I want to try is just, well, let's git commit try splitting apart, or try parameterizing for part 1 and part 2. Okay, now I can just like edit stuff and I'll be fine. So what I want to do is just say, like, copy this entire thing and apply it twice and see if that fixes the problem and if it's somehow related to part 1 and part 2 being coming from outside. Or I want no? I wanted it to indent things differently for me. So we get rid of this and we pass this part 1. And we print it. No. Okay, good. So this tells me that the problem wasn't with some weird thing I don't understand about how ST type parameters are held, because this is still broken, even if I don't try looping over them all. And like it's saying they're too, like, one of these things expects a pair of ints and the other one says it'll work, it has anything. I don't understand what that means. Okay, well, all right, here's another question. What if I were to change this to undefined? Like, can you find anything that has the right type? No. Weird. Run until crash returns an ST of S and coordinate. Run ST. Well, wait, what the this type at the bottom looks ridiculous. Right? It says, please give me an ST of S and a pair of ints, and I'll give you back any value you want at all. That's clearly wrong. But how could it possibly think that's the type? Run st, it takes the the type. Okay, I mean, I guess it's because I didn't. Okay, tell you what, let's run st is a function. I'm going to tell you what type I think run st should have, and then you can tell me what else made you think it should have a different type. Is an stsa to a. But those are the same. But I'm not allowed to specify a type for S, because if I did, I could sneakily... Yeah. I could use... Yeah, give me the explicit for all, please. I want to turn on rank n types, I think, just to see what, like whether it will let me do this. Oh, I'm trying to say language. Okay, and actually, the type here should be coord, not a. Couldn't match type sts coord, sts1 coord. Yeah, so. Do I need to, like, change the type of part 1? Because I think if I inlined part 1. Let's do that, actually. Well. I don't know, like, I don't think that really ought to make any difference. Oh, well, no. Yeah, that didn't make any difference. So... I think in my previous one, when I had a list of part 1 and part 2, I think the type inferencer was unhappy about that because it infers the list to have monomorphic rank 1 type, which means it couldn't have any for-alls left in it. It needed to pick a specific S, which clashed with the S we wanted to use, or that ST wanted to allow us to use. So let's just take, but God, even if I put undefined here, this type is wrong. Why? Let's put in part 1 here, just in case, like, in case that somehow matters. But I don't think it will. This type can't be more general than type of undefined. So, like, this has a type that I understand. st of any, and then this thing. This has st any unit. This doesn't really have a, well, what's the type of this then, right? St of any and a list of pairs of coordinates and tiles. Seems good. Has carts. Has type set of coordinate. What's this type? Run until crash, st of any, and a single coordinate. So like, all of these, wait, why doesn't this have a type? There we go. Has st of any pair of int, which is a coordinate. Right? Like I can say this and you'll still be perfectly happy. St any coordinate. But for some reason this run st in a statement of a do block. Okay, which statement exactly? Print run st, but it's not a statement. Oh, it's a statement of the do block from main, sure. Yeah, so this whole statement has an error in it, fine. But and the type of run st, I don't get it. Couldn't, yeah. Something is saying that someone is being too specific about the type of S that run st is working with, and I don't know how that happened. Because everywhere that we use S is inside of this do block. I don't know. I guess I'm just like, I've written everything that looks right, and there's just a type error that comes from st somewhere, and I don't totally get it. So I'm just gonna, like, I already did part 2. I'm gonna declare this one basically done, and I think this is gonna be the last episode of this playlist. Advent Code is fun, but as it gets through the month, it just takes long enough that I don't really have the time to devote to doing all this stuff. So, and it gets frustrating to, like, it just takes forever. It kind of turns into a grind. I don't, some of these puzzles. So maybe I'll do a few of them off camera, but I think this is going to be the last episode. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you're doing Advent Code yourself, I hope that you have fun and success in your future puzzles. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in a different playlist.